So Cornelia Mihai, professional skydiver, pro canopy pilot, all the other things we're going to talk about that you do as well over the next half an hour. Welcome to Sports News.
Oh, good to see you again, and thank you for inviting me.
Long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Just looking at social media in Dubai, it looks like everything's kind of back to normal. Is it?
Not exactly like before, but we're definitely picking up. We're pretty busy, and I think because Dubai is open and a lot of other countries are closed, UAE I think is doing a good job of like letting people in and managing it as good as they can. And I think it's working well. We actually are doing pretty good, better than we thought.
Are you working 5 days a week?
We are working right now 4 days at the Palm and one day at the desert, and we're pretty busy. We're busy.
So in your jumping, in your work jumps, are you camera and tandem, or what are you doing?
Yes, and then at the desert I'm doing IFF and coaching and whatever it's necessary.
So to the good stuff, the canopy piloting, are you still training on your days off?
Well, it hasn't been a lot of that lately because we are, due to the pandemic, we've kept one team. So we are working when the drop zone is open. So 5 days a week we are open in total. So the 2 days off that we have, the drop zone is closed, so we cannot train. So I've been only training whenever I can squeeze in a jump here and there. Or basically what I've managed to do this year, I've been to 2 competitions and I've trained them. So I haven't trained much for sure. I've trained when I got to Klatovy, Czech Republic. That was a good training camp. And in the US, I did a little competition, but the weather wasn't very good, so I didn't do many jumps.
That was a couple of weeks ago, the Florida Skydiving League.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the area, so I thought, a little competition would be good.
Yeah. On the podium again.
Yeah, it wasn't a big competition,
Right.
but I was happy to go to compete against Kurt Bartholomew. That he's, my main competitor for so many years. And I lost. I got second, but it was good. I mean, considering this year and that we haven't had many chances to either train or compete, I was happy to just be there. And I don't think it was too bad. I mean, due to the weather, we only did 4 jumps out of 6.
Right.
So I would have loved to see what would have happened in 2 more jumps,
You absolutely love the competition. You love the battle, the fight, don't you?
Yes.
I think,
but I like the battle more. Like if it's a good fight, even if I lose, it's more about those moments.
I was thinking about this a bit earlier about if you were in a situation where you were getting first place on the podium, gold medal every competition, finishing 20, 30 points in the lead, I don't think you'd be satisfied with that. If you didn't have the battle, if you didn't have the fight, I think you thrive on that moment.
Yeah, because for example, okay, I've won competitions before, but that's just, it goes. No matter, maybe it's gonna sound weird, but the podium, it's not the nice moment for me. The nice moment for me when I'm on a tight scoreboard with the other competitors and I need to jump out of the plane and perform at my best. That's what I enjoy. The outcome, the podium, yeah, it's great. But most of the times I think I kind of feel sad that a competition is over and I need to wait for a long time for the next one, So I love that. And yeah, don't get me wrong, I aim to get first, but I enjoy fighting for first.
This competitive edge, this enjoyment of the fight, of the battle, have you always known all your life that you've had this? Or did it come when you were competing, or when you were little, did you know?
Not for sure, but when I started skydiving in Romania, we only did, I started with static line and I did classic accuracy. So I have a few jumps in classic accuracy and I competed at the national level. I did like some national, I think 2 national competitions. And even though it wasn't, I don't know, maybe so it was challenging, but even though it wasn't maybe so exciting as jumping from full altitude and stuff like that, I enjoyed it. And I noticed then that I enjoy it. Um, and then with the years, I was just, going after my goals of becoming an instructor and jumping more. But I always kind of knew that competition, it's something that I would like. And then when I started competing in canopy piloting and with more and more competitions, I realized I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the battle a lot. And I think the more competitions I get on second place, the more I enjoy it.
Ah,
I want to get first.
it's been quite a decade. 10 years. Is it 10 years since your first event in Dubai? Or 9 years?
9 years. It was in 2011. I did my first.
2011. That was a second DIPC.
Third.
The third.
Third,
yeah, with the Fazer 3, yes.
I got used to it.
Yeah. So it's been quite a journey for you from that first event to actually being there working now. Only 2 years after that first event, you were in Cali, Colombia at the World Games.
Yeah. So I really, it definitely was a change of path for me. I never thought I would love canopy piloting so much, especially because I never really aimed for it. Like I never thought that would be something that I would do. I just kind of went for it to see. I don't know if you remember. I remember that the APC 2. Some of the guys from Empuria went there, and I used to work in Empuria with you. And I remember I saw Foggy's. He was competing.
Yeah.
And so his video, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And those videos just inspired me, not to be there and win, but just to attend. And it definitely changed my entire skydiving career.
I remember being in the hangar in Imperial Bravo. You were there. You were working at the drop zone at the time. I think my first recollection of you swooping was I was in the hangar packing my parachute for the very rare times that I packed for myself. I was actually doing a pack job, and I heard this whoosh by the hangar door, and I looked out and just saw this black body disappearing. And it was unusual because we were normally seeing the Babylon crew or the instructors swooping past the door of the hangar, and suddenly it was somebody different. And who was that? And I ran outside and I noticed it was you, and you just seemed to have got this swooping level of skill from nowhere. It just seemed to come from nowhere. It was incredible. And that was really back in the day. That must have been...
Yeah, that was probably on my katana. I used to I think I didn't do anything for a very long time, and then I started to be interested in it, and I learned how to do 270s, and then it just picked up. I guess I liked it. I liked the challenge of learning new stuff, and I just went for it.
So in that, I'm interested in the beginning there. How did you learn that 270? Did you get? Did you speak to people? Did you just go and try it for yourself? What did you do?
No. So, okay, you know how it's in Empuria. I've been a packer for years, so I was like, keep seeing people swooping. And I came from a background in Romania where I didn't get like the best habits. Like the typical was to just you want to swoop, just downsize more, it was just, we didn't have the right information. So when I get to Empuria and I saw the level there of, Babylon guys and the instructors landing, I think I was mostly impressed by Wolf at the time from Babylon, because everybody was swooping on velocities and he was swooping on a Sabre 2120, and he was going further and faster than a lot of other people. And I was like, oh, wait a second, it's not necessarily the canopy, it's actually the pilot. And I had a Katana 107, and I slowly did 90s or played with it a little bit. I didn't know how to do 270s. And one day I asked Dennis from Hayabusa now. He was not in Hayabusa at the time. And he was just hanging around. He was going to be in the team next. And we did a few jumps together and we were being friends. And I saw he was doing 270s. So I'm like, hey, can you explain me how to do 270s? Because nobody else around was able to tell me, or I didn't find the right person. So he kind of tried, but I guess he didn't know exactly how to teach me. And he's like, oh, come with me. Let's do a two-way. Follow me on landing. I'm like, okay, I don't know if it was ignorance or I trusted him a lot. And we flew together. We went in the big landing area on the other side. And yeah, I was just flying behind him and with a bit of distance. And I knew that he's going to start doing his turn. And I did exactly what he did at 270. We did a two-way for my first 270. And it was scary. Like, I knew he was starting the turn. I was like, oh, now I need to go for it. And it was all good. I guess I came out a bit high. It wasn't the greatest swoop, but for me, it was the beginning. And you can ask Tim whenever you want. Like, he even now tells me, like, you remember who taught you how to swoop? He's very proud of it.
And have you found yourself on the other end of that now? Have you found yourself coaching somebody for the first time who wants to get into swooping?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I do coach.
Yeah.
So even if I coach because people come to me and ask for help, or sometimes I see someone that is really interested to learn and they're really trying, and yeah, definitely I found myself doing that. I'm teaching other people, and most of the times they ask for my help, or if I see someone that really wants it and I can give them some advice, it ends up. Sometimes I just coach online. People write to me and they ask if they should downsize, or what should they downsize with, or what's the path that they should take.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm definitely on the other side now.
And what a career it's been. What an incredible 9-10 years since you started competing. You have a phenomenal power in all of your disciplines, in all of canopy piloting, distance, accuracy and speed. But your distance is what absolutely makes me speechless. It's not often things do that. Your technique you've got with the distance, the height you get.
Yeah, I love distance, and I guess you love something that you do good. Like, I remember at the beginning when I started like swooping and I was starting competing more and more. At the time, Nicholas Batch was. I mean, I still think he's the best canopy piloting out there, even though he said he's retired. I don't think so. I was admiring him a lot and his distance technique. So I think I don't have his technique because that's pretty unique, but I think I have a bit of his style more than other people's. And I trained it so much because I wanted to beat him, and he inspired me a lot. So eventually, once you train it enough, you get better at it, I guess. And I enjoy it. I enjoy distance a lot. Also because I fly it well.
Yes.
And the rest, I enjoy everything, but distance definitely. When you have a good distance round and you go far away, it's beautiful.
For anybody watching from different air sports who don't understand what distance is in canopy piloting, just run us through it. Run us through from being at your setup point, what actually happens, what you do.
So everything happens on a pond, a body of water, and we have gates. So the idea is to create enough power with your parachute, and you need to touch the water with keeping your maximum speed, touch the water before a gate, and keep flying through a 50-meter course, staying in the course. And then after the 50 meters, you can go as far and as high as you can into the course, that it's a straight line. But yeah, if you bring enough speed and you have the proper wind and the proper conditions, you can go very, very far, and you can climb quite far. And that's, I think, the impressive part of this discipline for the spectators, because it's impressive how you can just come like low, touch the water, and then you can just climb with the parachute again. And a lot of people don't expect it when they see it. Yeah. And it's quite impressive. I think that's why, like, distance, it's an impressive discipline to have and to watch properly.
The height you get, you get some serious height as you come through that final gate.
Yeah, I mean, definitely over 3 meters, maybe more. I don't know. I don't measure it. It just feels high, but it's for me, it doesn't feel as high because I fly with the parachute, so I know that I'm gonna land it safely. Well, unless sometimes it hurts. But from the outside, sometimes when I look at my rounds or other people's rounds, you're like, oh yeah, that was really high, like over a wind blade or over trees at the height of some trees. So in the moment, I don't look at what, I'm just focused on going as far as I can. But you definitely, when you have the power, it's going to be a good run.
For a distance, where does it come from? Is it just purely on the power at the beginning? Or which part of the whole run, or which parts of it determine you're going to get that big distance?
I think power, anybody can bring power, but it's about how you manage it in touching the water, first of all, because some people are not so smooth, and when they touch the water, they are inputting too much on the parachute, and then they destroy a lot of the distance of the speed.
Yeah.
And the second point, I would say, like at 50 meters, where you're the second gate, where you're allowed to just launch forward and go as far as you can. With the current harnesses that we use right now, it's very important that you are flexible from your shoulders.
Right.
So that when you go from sitting a little bit upright to leaning forward, if you're flexible, it pays off because you're not inputting so much in the parachute. But some people, especially some guys, bigger guys, they're not so flexible in the shoulders. And then when they're doing this transfer, they lose a lot of the speed. So it's also important to be smooth. It's not only about maximum power.
Yeah.
I think if you can bring the maximum power and be as smooth as possible, then that's it. You're probably winning.
And you've had gold in distance, FAI gold at distance.
Yes. That was in Canada in 2015, and in Dubai also at the World Air Games in 2015. And I think maybe some other times, but that's the most memorable one for sure.
The world record of distance. Is it still with Cedric?
Yes, yeah. I had it for a day.
Yeah.
In South Africa last year. So I've broke his record in the first round of distance, and then the next day or 2 days after that, in the third round, he broke my record. So, but fair enough, it was a good run.
Yeah.
He held the record before, and he still has the record. So it's just something that I have to aim for.
Well, we're still looking for that overall championship win as well. That's in your, yeah.
I think I started believing that I can do it in 2016 in Canada. I don't know if you remember. And I was ready then, but we can never find out what would have happened because the weather was so bad that we actually didn't have a world champion. And since then, I'm trying. I always either have like a round that I mess up or different things. So I'll keep trying, Regan.
I'm sure you're going to get there. And what about DIPC? There's going to be a championships in the new year. Is that definitely happening, or is it still in discussion?
It's definitely from Dubai side. It's definitely, I heard it's happening. I mean, there's a bulletin out, and the countries are supposed to send the preliminary registration by mid-December. So I think that will determine, or we will know more after that, because from UAE side, they want to organize the competition. Now it's going to depend on how the delegations can travel, or which countries are willing to send their athletes or not. So I'm not sure. I think we're going to have more information after the preliminary registration.
So as well as your canopy piloting, your work jumps, your tandems, and your video and your AFF, you're also very accomplished in other skydiving events, and you're probably the only athletes that have commentated on at least 3 different events: canopy piloting, VFS, and four-way.
Yes, I like to do everything. I enjoy everything in skydiving. Whenever there's a competition in the tunnel or anywhere, like anything new, I enjoy it. I like to try it. If I have the time, I even now I started this summer to do some wingsuit jumps. I just enjoy skydiving. I've been skydiving for 18 years now, and I enjoy learning new things. And it's all the times something new that I would like to learn to get better. And the sport evolves so fast that it feels like you can never get bored. It's amazing.
There's almost so much to do. I think the last time I saw you was in Abu Dhabi at the tunnel, the big 32-foot tunnel, and you were doing the 16-way dynamic sequential stuff in there.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great thing that we were, and that was just basically staff. We were the instructors from both drop zones, and we had this sequential that we were doing like once a week or once every 2 weeks, and we were doing a 16-way head down, like a vertical sequential.
Yeah.
And it was great. We were basically doing it because we had cheap tunnel time, and it was fun. Lots of and we were doing it after work. Sometimes we were working, 10 jumps, work jumps, and then we would just drive to Abu Dhabi and fly, and hopefully we can do it again.
Are you mentoring any other staff members at the moment for canopy piloting? I know you work closely with Olga, don't you? With Olga, sorry.
Yeah. Olga has definitely been. I think now she came to me when I don't know if it was when she got a job when she got hired at Sky of Dubai. She approached me and she said she wants to learn. She wants to get into swooping. And I've coached her a lot at the beginning. She started with me with her like when she was doing 270s and then 450s. And I can say I'm mentoring her still. Like she's pretty independent. She's a canopy pilot. She's competing, and I think she's already grown up. Whenever she, when she has a question, or sometimes she needs my help, sometimes I coach her a little bit. But I think she grew. She's not the baby swooper anymore. She knows how to swoop.
Excellent. And so, of all your competitions, which one springs to mind of meaning the most to you for your personal satisfaction?
I think there's always Klatovy. Although I never won it, I've always came second a lot of times. Second, third. But Klatovy, it's always been a good battle in Klatovy. And I can remember 2 moments, like in 2013. I was just getting better at canopy piloting, and I remember one moment when we were doing distance, and I went quite far, and Nick Batch landed. He was in a different plane, but he saw my run.
Yeah.
And when he landed, he asked the judges, where did Cornelia land? Like worried. And he did land it like a meter and a half further than me, but it meant so much for me that he asked about my run that I was like, oh wow, okay. So it's good. I'm getting better. And another jump that I remember is from Klatovy. I think it was last year when I went in the last round, and we were a few points apart.
Yeah.
Me and Cedric. He looked at the scores, he knew what he needed to win, and I had no idea. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. And it was accuracy, no wind, and I did 98. That means almost perfect in the box, and I love that jump. It just, everything slowed down. I focused just enough. It was a good jump, and I think I needed maybe, like, we were so close, and he won. But it was a beautiful, last jump of the competition.
Do you check the scores, or is that the way you always do it? You just
through waves. Like I was checking the scores years ago, and then I had one interesting jump that it was in a DISL just before in 2015.
Yeah.
And I was very close to Nick Batch, and he was always, I was aiming to beat. I was aiming to win, and I was very close to him. And we had 2 rounds of speed left, and speed is my weakest discipline for sure. and I wasn't very sure. Like in training, a lot of times I was missing gates. So I knew the score, so I focused so much on like getting the gate, that I didn't visualize flying through the course.
Right.
And crazy enough, I did a perfect turn, perfect entry gate, and I think I had a brain lock at the time. Like everything went black and white, and everything slowed down, and I flew straight. Like by the time I was gonna turn left through the course, I actually was going straight. And I think it was a brain lock. I was too stressed, I was demanding, I guess, too much of myself.
Yeah.
And since then, I decided not to look at the scores for years. Like I didn't want to look at the scores. But I started looking again at the scores this summer in Klatovy with Cedric, because I think maybe I've matured more as a competitor, and I think I can handle it better now. And it's good to know the scores when you're fighting for a few points to win. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, what happens? I think of all the air sports, I think canopy piloting has to be the one that comes the closest to rugby. You can take some really big impacts with CP, which you don't really get with other air sports. Tell us a little bit about that. You must have had some landings which have took your breath away.
For sure. Like, I don't know, like people don't realize, like sometimes me and my teammates at the time, we couldn't sit. Like we would train, and because of the landings, especially in distance, like we couldn't really properly sit. Like our tailbones are so bruised, and depends how much you're training, and depends also of the soil. So for example, here in Dubai, it's pretty hard. In Klatovy, it's like it rains a lot, so it's really soft, so that's no issue. But when I used to train a lot here in Dubai, sometimes I couldn't, like, oh, I'm not gonna train distance today, I'm gonna take a break. And yeah, I remember, luckily I'm pretty fit, and I don't know if I've learned how to take hits or I just got used to it. Once I remember in Klatovy again, my old weight belt broke when I hit the ground. So the weight belt just broke in half. And I was like, oh, I guess I hit a bit hard. And apart from that, yeah, like I had moments where I was protecting my back on the landing, and I was just actually landing on my feet too hard. So I was like, oh, I'm just hurting myself even more. So sometimes you just need to take a break and let your body rest a bit.
Do you do that? Do you actually take a break and let your body rest a bit?
Not really. I try to keep it fit. So if I have an issue, I remember one time I really had I had a bad landing in distance, and I really had some pain in my lower back, and I went to a physio, and he told me, your core is weak, your lower back muscles are weak, make them stronger. So he gave me some exercises, so I was just doing that, and definitely made a difference. And whenever I feel now that maybe I have a weaker part of my body or I feel some pain, I'm like, okay, I need to strengthen with that part. For example, after this lockdown that we had here in Dubai, and we didn't jump, I didn't jump for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt it once I got back into jumping. I felt it on my shoulders, because 3 months I didn't touch my rears or anything. And I was like, oh, okay, I need to work on the flexibility on my shoulders again. So I focused on that so I can get it back.
What do you do as a fitness regime? What's your daily program?
I don't have I have my little 15 minutes in the morning. I stretch at the drop so I do exercises at home, then I stretch at the drop zone before started jumping. And depending of what I used to, before the quarantine, I used to go to the gym. Sometimes I go to the boxing gym, or now in the quarantine, because the gyms were closed, I started running. And I don't enjoy it, but I take it as a challenge as well. I don't like quitting, so I continued running. I just want to get faster. So basically nothing crazy because I am active. I jump a lot. Like today I did 10 jumps. I just try to keep fit and eat healthy. So definitely, if I don't take care of my fitness, I will suffer more.
Well, that's a great. I think I'm almost out of time. Yeah. Well, I know it's late now for you. What time do you normally finish off and get to bed on an evening in Dubai?
Well, because the days here are pretty short. Well, not compared to Europe now, but we finished at the drop zone around 5:30, and I'm probably gonna have dinner now, and hopefully be in bed by hopefully by 11.
Okay.
And tomorrow, I wake up, tomorrow. We're going to the desert. So I have, as far as I know, I have IFF students for tomorrow.
Is the desert drop zone still open for fun jumpers or not?
Yeah, but just 1 day a week for now. Hopefully we're gonna change that soon.
And can fun jumpers still go to the Palm?
Yeah, everything. It's we bring in the weekend. I think on Fridays we're pretty busy, so we keep one plane for the tandems, and then we have another plane for the fun jumpers. So we find solutions. It's actually, you would be surprised how busy it is in some days. And tomorrow at the desert, it's gonna be packed. And considering it's a Monday, that people actually take days off from their work to come to jump. It's pretty impressive. It's full.
I'm tormenting myself. I'm so jealous. I wish I was there doing a few jumps right now.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Listen, Cornelia, it's been amazing to catch up with you. Thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
And hopefully we're gonna see each other at the competition soon.
Hopefully, yes. Take care.
Well, take care. Bye, Regan.